What's up, guys? It's BingyWolf07 back at you with a brand new video. In today's video we're going to be looking at a rogue deck that I have recently built. And I'm not going to say that I didn't take inspiration from other YouTubers, because I totally did. But I've been wanting to build WindWitch for a while, and this past couple of months has been the perfect time because it's really good against Bird Up. And also, we just got some new support in the form of, where is it? Diamond Bell and Freeze Bell. So, we're going to be looking into, and I think WindWitch Chimes, yes. Anyways, we're going to be going over this list, and, yeah. So, starting off with the main deck monsters, WindWitch monsters, we have, Triple Ice Bell. Basically, this is, says if you control no monsters, you can special summon this from your hand, and then you can special summon one WindWitch monster from your deck, but it cannot be tributed. And you cannot special monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except level 5 or higher wind monsters. And then you can, if this card is normal summon, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent. You can only use each effect of WindWitch Ice Bell once per turn. So a couple of these cards in this deck actually have like burn effects that are, if you need some extra chip damage, it's pretty good at. I'm not going to tell you that you can like super win with this deck. It's not, it's like, it's not that kind of a deck. I mean, it's fun. It's very interesting to play. If you want to bring this to a locals, you can. There's definitely budget options in the form of this card right here. Win the Wind Channeler right here is a budget option for Prosperity. Some people actually like her more because you don't have to ditch your extra deck cards. And also you can pick which one you get, but it's fine. And then also we play 3 Glass Bell, which if this card is normal special summon, you can add one WindWitch monster from your deck to your hand, except Glass Bell. And you can also not special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except wind monsters. You can only use this effect once per turn. Pretty much that doesn't matter. Like, there's only like one card in this deck that you'd be worried about these effects, like the wind lock, and that's because of Rubber Band Shooter, because some of them say level 5 or higher, level 5 or lower, like wind monsters, and this doesn't have levels, so that can kind of screw you over. But pretty much everything else in here, it works out pretty well. So moving on, we got WindWitch Snowbell. If you control 2 or more wind monsters and no non-wind monsters, special it from your hand, and a wind synchro monster that was summoned using the synchro material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. You have to be able to remember this whenever you're playing and they try to hit you with an evenly match or whatever. You can just say like, hey, Snowbell, so yeah, or well, not evenly, I guess it'd probably be like other situations besides that, like punishment or something, I don't know. Anyways, WindWitch Freeze Bell, this is the new one. If you control only WindWitch monsters, if all the monsters you control are WindWitch monsters, minimum of 1, so you have to at least have 1 on the field. You can't just like have 0 on the field and be like, oh look, I don't have anything on the field, so technically everything is, it's basically it's just minimum 1, right? So you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use that effect once per turn, and then once per turn during your main phase, you can increase this card's level by 1, and a synchro wind monster that was summoned using this card cannot be destroyed in battle. So same like second effect as Snowbell. It's a little bit different though. It's kind of the special summoning mechanics a little bit different. Anyways, now we play a Speedroid package, like a small one. It works really well with this deck. Synergized it like has really great synergy with this deck. It's a synchro deck as well. I used to play this by itself, and I used to play just Speedroids until they hit O-Lion Hulk problem. Like, alright, let me just say this: Noodle is the problem. Not all of our great tuners. Bring them back, please. But anyways, so Terratop is kind of like a Cyber Dragon. If you control no monsters, special summon it from the hand, and when it is normal or special, you can add 1 Speedroid card from your deck to your hand, except Terratop. And obviously, this card's pretty broken, so that's why it's probably at 1. Ticket board. If you control a wind monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then you can tribute it and special 1 Speedroid tuner from your deck and you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except wind monsters, and this is also a once per turn effect. You play 3 of those, and 2 card turbos. So basically, if you control a wind monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and you can activate monster effects for the rest of this turn except wind monsters. You can banish this card, and you can banish this card and 1 speed word monster from your graveyard, and all wind monsters you currently control gain 800 till the end of the turn. So it's that's kind of like, that rarely comes up unless you're trying to OTK and you just need some damage to push you over. And the effect thing doesn't even affect our hand traps, because we play Miradora and Moonlit Chill. I'll get into that later. But anyways, Red Eye Dice. When his normal special, you can target 1 speed word you control, except a speed word Red Eye Dice, and declare a level from 1 to 6. It becomes that level until the end of this turn. This comes up, I wouldn't say all the time, but I feel like it comes up a lot. I ended up using this effect a couple times in testing, and also I definitely think this list can change. The new format did just come out, so we saw a lot of bans and unbans and stuff, and I think that all these, this entire deck list is subject to change, but I really just wanted to release this for you guys and try to see what y'all thought about it, give me y'all thoughts and opinions. Anyways, continuing on. 3, Pilica, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Pilica, Descendant of Augusto. So basically this is like your normal summon in the deck, right? Because when it is normal summoned or special summoned, you can target a wind monster in your graveyard and special it and face up defense, but its effects are negated. If you activate this effect, you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for wind monsters. It's a once per turn effect. Same thing, locks you out of other cards, which can kind of screw you over sometimes. Anyways, continuing on, for the hand traps we play Ghost Warner, Moonlit Chill, and Heavenly Zephyr at Miradora. These are both hand traps that work in this deck because they're wind, which, this doesn't affect your deck unless you side in some of the side stuff that I have listed, but anyways. So yeah, these work really well in the deck. If you haven't noticed already, Bird Up can't touch this deck because you aren't specialing summon monsters except for wind monsters. This entire deck's wind. So if you end up having to play Bird Up at locals or something, and your Bird Up player thinks that they've got you in a chokehold, you just, special, or special, pop your effects, make a whole board, and they have no clue what they're doing. WindWitch Chimes, basically target a WindWitch monster you control and special WindWitch with a different name from your deck. Basically you just have to target a WindWitch monster you control, and then you special summon 1 WindWitch monster from your deck with a different name in defense, and you can only activate 1 times per turn, and then it also locks you out of everything but wind monsters. So, basically you could say it's just a built-in +1. It's really nice. I enjoy playing it. I'm sure y'all will too. Next thing, we have 3 Pot of Prosperity. Now this, like I said, can be replaced for the Wind Channeler. Some people like this more. Personally, Prosperity fits me best. I feel like it has a lot of viability in this deck. You're not going to be doing much drawing in this deck besides your normal draw, so Prosperity doesn't really ever get affected. And you play so many multiples. You play multiple Winder Bells, multiple Crystal Wings, multiple Diamond Bells, that you don't really have to worry about ditching some of those for pluses, right? So you're good. Some one-ofs that we have Monster Reborn. It's just a good one-of. And then we have E-Telly, E-Telly, or Emergency Teleport. And the only thing it does is to get this. We get Pilica. That's that. It's a consistency booster. It gets this. It's great. Now for the deck cards that I'm running to kind of try to boost this deck's power in a meta matchup, I play 3 Goes in Match, and these are your flex spots. You can play whatever 6 you want, but I personally like Goes in Match. It hits a lot of decks right now. And then Solemn Strike, because I feel like Solemn Strike gets the job done pretty well. And I don't really feel like there's anything else you need to play. Next, for the extra deck, we play the 1 Rubber Band Shooter. This card is just super broken in this deck. One thing is, Ice Bell locks you out of it, which kind of sucks, but it's whatever. Um, there's a whole lot I could say about this card, but I'm not, gonna waste your time. Pretty much everybody knows what this does. If you don't, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon a wind monster. Also, you can special summon a monster from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except synchros. And then you can banish a wind synchro from your extra deck and reveal 2 speed or monster from different names from your deck whose total level equal that secret monster. Your opponent randomly picks 1 to add to your hand, and it's the other to send to the graveyard. You can set up some pretty good plays with this. It's nice. I see it more often than I think I do. Basically, anytime I don't see Ice Bill in my opening hand, this is pretty much what I'm going into. If I see Ice Bill, I just go straight into combo. Virtual World Beast Juju is a good card. So is Shinshin. They're good in Virtual World. Now that Virtual World got hit pretty badly with the VFD hit, I feel like these cards will be dropping in price, so they'll be a little bit more budget friendly for those of you who want to play these in your deck. Play the 1 Adamant Spit Arisen Raptite because it's wind, it excavates, it's good. It has a good second effect that you can use. Battle Wasp Hum the Conquering Bow. This card is really weird. That whole archetype pretty much sucks, but the only reason that I like this is A, when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can make all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 1,000. And then second, at the end of your battle phase, if your opponent's not taking any damage this phase, you can inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each Battle Wasp monster's grade. Like, you don't use that effect, right? That's useless. But if it's someone using a synchro card as synchro material, you can make a second attack. So basically how you'd make this is you Winter Bell and Snow Bell into Hama, and that's if you have like no other good plays, right? I mean, you can do so many other things besides that, right? Like, there's no need to do that, but you can, and it's funny. It's just, that's the only point. It's really funny. Anyways, continuing on, the 3 Winter Bell and the 2 Diamond Bell. Diamond Bell's the new one, and Winter Bell's the old one. So Winter Bell, you can target a WindWitch monster in your graveyard and inflict damage to your opponent equal to that card's level times 200 during the battle phase. You can target a WindWitch monster you control and special it from your hand. Special summon, you can target a WindWitch monster you control and special summon 1 monster from your hand with a level less than or equal to that monster's, but it cannot attack, right? So you just use that to turp out some synchro material, honestly. Now, this is usually what you target in your grave with Winter Bell. If it's in your grave and you want to get some free damage in, this is usually what you target. And if it's, it just punishes your opponent for getting rid of this. Basically, what this card's effect is if this card is synchro summon, you can target one WindWitch monster you control in your graveyard and inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its attack. You can only use this effect once per turn, but also once per turn, if your opponent takes damage or from battle or effect, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. If you control this card that was synchro summoned using only WindWitch monsters, you can use this effect up to twice per turn. This is a really freaking cool effect that you can use to pop cards for free. It's crazy, and it works. It's really good. Next, we have our Clearwing Synchro and Fast Dragon. So what these two do, basically, right? You got this one. Everybody knows what Clearwing Synchro Dragon does. It's got the quick effect. When another level 5 or higher monster activates this effect, you can negate it if you do destroy it. And then once per turn, when a monster effect is activated that targets a level 5 or higher monster on the field, and no other cards, so specifically a level 5 or higher monster by itself, you can negate the activation if you destroy it. So that's like, I guess, one punishes your opponent for using an effect that targets, that just does anything. And then the other one punishes one that target. Like, if your opponent who doesn't know, for some reason you're playing an opponent that plays Dragoon and doesn't pay attention to Clearing Synchro Dragon, you can essentially get a free, like a free non-targeting, like a pop on the dragon, basically. I believe you can. As far as I know, you can. And then you play the Fast Dragon, you don't use it as a pendulum, but you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls that was special from the extra deck and until the end of the turn, change the attack to 0 and negate that card's effects. Can only use this effect of clear wing fast during once per turn. If it is in the monster destroyed by battle or card effect, you can place this in your pendulum zone, which you wouldn't really do, but you can. Next, we play the Big Daddy Boss monster that you play 3 of. That is Crystal Wing. Crystal Wing is so great. I love it so much. It is my favorite synchro card of all time because it's so like funny to watch people just react. Now, other cards you like, obviously you could play are like Trishula of the Ice Barrier if you have it. You could play Black Rose. You could play Archfiend, like any of them you could play, but I personally, this is obviously a boss. You could like probably play pretty much that for any one of these cards, like probably these two, maybe this one, that one, like, you know, get a lot of stuff for those cards. But anyways, Crystal Wing, right? So Crystal Wing's effect is once per turn, when another monster's effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation if you do destroy that monster, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack until the end of this turn. And if this card battles an opponent's monster at level 5 or higher, during damage calculation, this card gains attack equal to the current attack of that opponent's monster it's battling during the damage calculation only. This card gets really beefy really quick, and you can have multiple. It's so good. I mean, they don't all get the effect, right? But it's a great card. You have multiples. You can dump some off Prosperity if you want, and of course you can just like summon another one if they get rid of the first one, because you have everything you have in the non-tuner, tuner, tuner, non-tuner, 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 tuner, tuner, non-tuner, tuner, non-tuner. I mean, obviously you wouldn't probably use either of these unless you just absolutely bricked, but you know, it's whatever. Next, into the side. It's not really an organized side, I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of a little bit of everywhere, but 3 torrential, 3 evenly matched. Great trap cards for this format. Droll, which still works for the deck. You can still make Droll work in this deck because it's still wind, but it locks out pretty much every deck in the game, right? Except during the draw phase, if they add a card, you can extend it from your hand to the graveyard, and they cannot be added. They cannot have cards from either player's hand added to the main deck. Which, I mean, like, you wouldn't do that on your opponent's turn in most cases anyways. So, this is perfectly great, right? This card's just good. Skullmeister, when its effect is activated, everybody knows what this does. It is a double DD Crow, because when a card effect is activated in your opponent's graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and negate that effect. And then Ash, because it hits everything. You could play Bell somewhere if you could like find a place to cut it. It all depends on the format. Who knows? I might put in Bell later over some of these cards. I don't really know. But if y'all enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I'm trying to grow my channel. It's not very big right now, but you know, I want to see it grow. And of course, if you guys like want to see like combos or test hands of this deck, let me know in the comments down below, and I will get that going for y'all. So without further ado, thank y'all for watching, and y'all have a good one.